Alright, so we're not going to be messing about here. You're just looking for some combos, and I've got some combos to show you. So we're just going to jump straight into it. Now, as a reminder, I obviously can't show you every single possible combo the archetype has, as that would be like a 10-hour video, and I'm not going to go through that. So essentially, I'm going to be showing you the 3 basic combos for this deck list, so you get a rough idea of how to play it, and you can just take it straight onto the ranked ladder, and just go bully some people right off the bat. I'm also not going to be covering the more wackier style deck list, so the Terahertz, Cybursty one, or going through maybe some of the Heatsoul lines or anything like that. I'm just going to be showing you the stock standard build for the deck list with the stock standard combos for the deck. Also, as a reminder, if you guys do enjoy this kind of content and want to see some more deck builds or some more combo guides from me in the future, remember I do release these basically every single new pack when it's released into Master Duel. I'll try to have a combo guide out within a few hours of that pack, so if you want to see the quickest released combo guides every single pack released into Master Duel, please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump to this first combo. So this is the most basic bitch combo for the entirety of the deck. It's super basic and can play around things like Nibiru as well. Alright, so all you need for this is a singular copy of Airlifter. Pretend the rest of my hand is all just garnets or some random bricks or whatever else. Just pretend we just have this Airlifter. Alright, so normal summon the Airlifter, giving you a search. And this is going to grab the brand new card, the Emergency. Alright, then we're going to activate the Emergency. Alright, Emergency is going to grab a copy of your Hydrant, and it requires you to get rid of a monster on your field or your hand. So in this case, the Airlifter. Alright, now we can use the Hydrant's effect to search for, of course, your big boy, wherever it is. Alright, your Turbulence. Alright, now you can activate this card's effect to summon itself to the field by banishing the 2 cards in the graveyard. Alright, putting him on the field. Alright, from here you can activate the effect of your Turbulence to grab 4 cards from your deck, which unfortunately in Master Duel is horrendously slow because for some reason it makes you click every single one manually. I don't know why they did this, but anyway. Let me just grab every single individual one by itself. Yeah. And then we get to shuffle them as well to wherever you want them. Alright, then from here we can activate the effect of your Alert, which because this card's on the field, we can search our deck, grab a copy of the Preventer. Alright, then using that alert in the graveyard, we can now special summon the Preventers to the field. Alright, and this can be your end field. It's already a very formidable end field, and it's played completely around Nibiru, as we've only done 4 summons. Since we've got your 2 trap cards, your Negate and your Destroy, we've got your Book of Moon flip down effect, and of course we have your 4 cards in hand and the bonus effect of your Turbulence to remove your opponent's stuff. So already we're on a fairly decent end field. But if you're not a little bitch and you're willing to keep going, you can also go for an IP Masquerena here, which does quite a bit during your opponent's turn, as I'll show you. So putting the Masquerena on the field. Alright, not going to use the Preventer's effect here because you're going to use it again in a second. If you use it here, you won't get the bonus search, so we're going to wait a bit, go into the opponent's turn, and then we can use the effect of your Rescue on the field, and because this card's on the field, we're going to summon back the Preventer. Actually, it doesn't matter, this card's on the field. But anyway, we're going to be reviving, bringing back the Preventer. Alright, so now we've got your same Book of Moon effect to flip slant your opponent controls face down if they had Slink face down. Then once you've done that, you can use the Preventer, which has now been used, to go into something like a Knightmare Unicorn. So then once again have an extra bit of disruption to shuffle slide back into the deck, and this will trigger the effect of your Preventer to grab back that Airlifter and put it back on the field. And like I said, we can use this to discard a card, get rid of this thing, and there we go, bringing back your monster, and in doing so, this also gives you the effect of this card to grab a spell card for follow-up, so grabbing an emergency for later on. Yeah, and that's basically your first start for the deck list. There's other ways to play it, like you can go down some other sort of more cybersy routes and or like Heatsoul and stuff, but I think this is probably the best sort of combo route we have in Master Duel currently, if you're looking for a way to play around Nibiru, or just looking for a stock standard basic line for the deck. Alright, on to our second combo. This one's going to be using Bonfire. Now the reason we're playing Bonfire is quite simple. Hydrant happens to be a level 1 fire monster. And well, Snake Eyes, they're pretty good at getting a hold of level 1 fire monsters, so Bonfire becomes a 1-card combo, and let me show you. So once again, pretend the rest of my hand is just complete bricks or garnets or something, and let's just, do the 1-card combo. So searching for your Poplar. Poplar being added to hand can summon itself to the field. Alright, placing it on the field. And this gives you your search, grabbing you your Sinful spoils. Alright, then to get an extra monster on the field for extra resources, we can go into either of these. If your opponent has a monster, of course, summon the Anima and steal a card right in front of it. But if your opponent doesn't, like in this case, we're just going to summon a Linkuriboh over here. And this will trigger the Poplar's effect to return to the field, where you can use it as resources for the Sinful spoils. So literally just giving yourself an extra card worth of value. Alright, activating the Snake Eyes thing to get rid of the Poplar. Then we're going to summon out the Hydrant to the field. Alright, now we can use the Hydrant effect to search for your Airlifter, and because we haven't normal summoned yet, we can just normal summon that straight to the field. And this will search for your Emergency. Alright, then we use the Emergency once again to summon out the Turbulence by using the lifter on the field. So grabbing your Turbulence, bring it over here. And we're going to send that Airlifter to the graveyard. Alright, now we can use the effect of your Turbulence to set 4 cards to the field. Normally you'd set both trap cards, but I happen to have one in hand already. But normally you'd set both the trap cards. Setting your Rescue. Setting your Alert. Painfully slow one at a time because thank you, Master Duel. Alright, putting them all on the field. And then we're going to shuffle them up to wherever you want them. Alright, now you can use the effect of your... Make sure I'm grabbing the right one here. Yeah, this one I think. Activating the effect of your Alert to search your deck list for a copy of your Preventer. Alright, now we can use the Preventer to summon itself to the field by specifically banishing the monster. And you want to summon the monster because you banish the monster because you want to summon it back later in just a second. So banishing the monster, summoning the Preventer to the field. Then from here, we're going to go into a copy of your Promethean Princess. Using these 3 monsters here. Alright, now keep in mind, by the way, with this combination, I'm just showing you one of the setups you can do with this deck list. You could have gone into things like your Apolloses here, or whatever else you wanted to set up turn 1. You can go into things like Heatsouls and whatever else. This just happens to be one of the setups you can do. Alright, so activating the Preventer that you just sent to the graveyard to bring back that monster. Putting it on the field. Alright, and then you can use the effect of your Princess to give yourself back that Preventer, so you can, of course, use its Book of Moon effect during your opponent's turn. Alright, and these 2 cards can become a nice looking Amblowhale. Alright, and that is basically going to be the end field for this particular combo. We've ended on your Promethean Princess in the graveyard with a nice little Amblowhale on the field. We've got your double trap cards, and once again, during your opponent's turn, we've of course got the Book of Moon effect from your Preventer to flip one of your opponent's monsters face down. And of course, we've got your Rescue over here to revive either the... revive back the Hydrant, so you have the bonus effects of your trap cards as well. And that's basically going to do it for this little setup. Again, reminder, this isn't necessarily the only sort of setup you can do for this deck list. If you wanted to go down different routes like Apollosa or stuff, or you're in a tournament and you know what your opponent's playing and you know the specific out to whatever they're playing, you can go down different card routes and whatnot. This is just an example combo on something you can end on. Alright, next thing I'll be showing you is the Diabellstar line. Now keep in mind, you can basically do the exact same combo you just saw with the previous combo with this cards as well. It will just look slightly different because you have to have one less card in the field, so maybe you just remove the Turbulence from the field and you end on the exact same end field otherwise. But in this case, I want to show you what you should probably be doing if you open a copy of Emergency in your starting hand, as well as one of your main starters. As the thing with Emergency is, this card is incredibly important in Master Duel right now, because it can dodge things like your Imperms and the Veilers that are being used on your Turbulence, because it tributes a card in the field. So if you can hold off on using your Emergency, you should probably hold off on using it. So let me show you how you can potentially play around cards. Alright, so I'm going to use the Diabellstar here, which once again is just a 1-card combo. So discarding 1 card, summoning out the Black Witch. Alright, activating the effect, which is going to give you a copy of your Sinful Spoils. Alright, using the Sinful Spoils, getting rid of the Witch on the field, summoning out your Hydrant. Alright, using the Hydrant's effect, grabbing a copy of your Airlifter, and this time when we normal summon the Airlifter, we're not going to be searching for Emergency, we're going to search for a copy of your Alert instead. Just making sure it's the right one, yep, I always get those two mixed up. Alright, then because we have the Hydrant on the field, we can use the Alert to search for our deck, to grab a copy of your Turbulence. Alright. Now we can use these 2 cards to go into a copy of any Link 2, doesn't particularly matter, using these 2. Putting this card on the field. And then we can summon the Turbulence to the field. Now if you happen to have an extra bonus fire monster in the graveyard you want to add back to your hand, you can summon it below the Sunlight Wolf here to add that back. In this case I'm going to keep these cards in the graveyard, so we just banish these 2. And summon this card right over here. Alright, then we can activate the effect of your Turbulence to grab your 4 cards, one of which is going to be Emergency this time. Now you'll notice here, I have as a quick effect can use this Emergency. So if my opponent had an Imperm or a Veiler here, or something to use on this Turbulence as I'm using its effect, I can activate the Emergency, tribute off the Turbulence that is using its effect, and I would still get all my cards on the field, and I get to summon out a card from the deck list. So the reason I'm showing you in this particular order, rather than the order you saw in the previous combo, is for that reason. If your opponent had Imperm or a Veiler here, and you happen to open an Emergency, you could have held off the Emergency until now, because we haven't used it yet, activate the Emergency, and still guarantee that your Turbulence will get its effect off, which is the most important effect of your entire combo line. So that's why I'm showing you this order in particular. Alright, then we can continue setting our cards, of course. Obviously you do it when your opponent would change the activation of this, you can't do it midway through setting these cards, but hopefully you get what I mean. Point is, if you can hold off on using Emergency, you should hold off on using Emergency, but it's only if you just happen to open the card. Alright. Alright, now from here, of course, we can use the effect of... we can go to the Promethean, of course. Alright. Use the effect of your Promethean. Promethean's now going to summon back a copy of your little fire dude over here, your Hydrant, because this way we can now use the effect of your Emergency. So we can activate the Emergency, summoning a Preventer to the field, then sending that exact same Preventer straight to the graveyard. Alright, this triggers the effect of the Preventer to revive back, bringing back your Airlifter. Alright, and now we can go into a nice looking Promethean, a whale over here. Alright, and once again, as soon as we pass over to our opponent's turn, we still have our Monster Reborn on the field. So we can use our nice looking Monster Reborn over here to bring back the Preventer, which gives us the Book of Moon effect. We have the Amblowhale with the Promethean in the graveyard, and both your trap cards are ready to go. Wow, screw you, AI. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's combos. Hope you guys enjoyed them. And now let's go check out the actual deck list so you guys get a rough idea of what you should be playing for this deck. Alright, so there's a couple important things to note about this deck list in particular, and the first one being, please, for love of God, treat this as an example deck list, as the pack only just came out a couple of hours ago, so it hasn't been a whole lot of time to experiment and try out different things, and there's going to be plenty of different ways to play this deck list now that it's in Master Duel, especially considering, unlike with most deck lists when they're introduced into Master Duel and we already know the absolute best way to play them, there's never been a format in both the TCG and the OCG where everything's been unlimited like this. I think in the OCG they've got Airlifter at 2, they've got the Emergency at 1, I can't remember exactly what the limitations are in the TCG. I know somewhere Wanted's limited to 1 somewhere. There's just so many different limitations and stuff. Also, when this deck list was a bit more free, I don't think Promethean Princess was even available in the game, same with Bonfire, so this is the first time in any of the formats where all this stuff has all been completely free and available to be played together, so it's really hard to judge just exactly what this deck list is going to look like in a couple of weeks once people have sort of experimented a bit more and tried out different things and tested out the best ways to play it, and then we'll kind of know how this deck list is supposed to look. For now, please treat this as an example, not just guaranteed best way. I highly encourage you to check out other different builds and guides online, check out other variations too, as people are playing more Cyburst heavy builds with Terahertz, people are playing more Snake Eye heavy builds with all the Snake Eye sort of cards, so I highly recommend checking out other guides and other deck builds elsewhere to sort of get a good idea of what you should be playing and what looks like it's the best. But for now, this is just an example build, and every single card in here will be typed out in the description down below as per usual, so the slang on screen you don't notice, just check the description, it'll be written out down there. Second thing I want to talk about with this art type is why the hell does every single Rescue Ace build you'll ever see play more than 40 cards, and there is a good reason for that. Essentially, this deck cannot brick. The entire art type has so many 1-card starters now that it is completely ridiculous just how consistent it is. Meaning, adding more power cards to the deck doesn't make it less consistent, it just makes it more powerful, as if you played this as a 60-card deck, it probably would still be just as consistent as it is at 40. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but you sort of get what I mean. Let me show you some starting hands. Basically, no matter what I'm opening here, I'll always open a starter. It cannot break. Alright, so we've got a starter here, so that's already 2 starters. Both these are starters. This is a starter, this is a starter. This card is a starter going second. We've got a starter going second, another starter here. We've got 2 more starters. You sort of get what I mean. Every single hand, another starter, another starter. Most hands are opening multiple 1-card combo starters already, and this is just test hands. This happens every single game. And you'll notice by adding more power cards like this Droplet over here, we're just opening starters and extra power cards, and opening the cards you don't necessarily want to see. Things like these trap cards and these spell cards, which you're just grabbing off your Turbulence anyway. We're seeing the cards we don't want to see less, and we're seeing these extra power cards more often, and of course we're going to be seeing all the starter cards every single game anyway, so you might as well play over 40. I wouldn't play too much over 40, as you don't want to make yourself too sort of inconsistent or sort of a heavy target for like one singular Ash Blossom or something, but with a deck list like this, when it is this consistent, you should be playing more than 40, because more power cards just means more power, not more bricks. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this little guide video. Like I said before, all these cards are going to be typed out in the description down below, so go check it down there if you don't recognize anything in here. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, hope to see you in future videos. I do one of these videos basically every single time a new pack is introduced into Master Duel, so if you do enjoy them, remember to leave a like, remember to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, hope to see you in the next one, and laters.